Hi Financial Studies students, welcome. This video is all about the list, state and identify questions that may appear on the written paper, just for the Certificate in Financial Studies students, because these type of questions do not appear on the diploma paper. You might find this video useful to watch prior to your tests, your mocks, your written exams and even your resits. So it's useful that you're able to come back and rewatch it. This video will show some examples of list, state and identify type questions for Unit 1 and Unit 2. These type of questions come up quite frequently in the written exam. However, some students lose out on marks because they don't implement the tips I'm about to show you. So let's check out some tips and examples to ensure that we apply them in our exam. Before we start, do check out these videos. They may also be of interest to you. I will put the link to them in the description box, as well as some resources to help you do well in your exams. For these type of questions, you might be asked to list the features, state the factors, identify elements, etc. So it's really important that you have good knowledge here. The list, state, identify type questions may appear in both the Unit 1 and or the Unit 2 exam. The list, state, identify questions do not tend to be any more than 5 markers. Might be a 4 marker, 5 marker, but they don't tend to be any more than that. And they are often found in the non-case study section of the paper. When answering these type of questions, you need to include the required number of points only. So the question might state, list 5 features. So if it requires you to list 5 features, then list 5. Do not list 6 because the examiner will only mark the first 5. So you're wasting time if you do so. So if you're required to write 5 points, then you write 5 points. Required to write 4, then you write 4. And then you move on to the next question. Now for these type of questions, just a reminder to like, share and subscribe, as I do post regularly. You only need to write a list. You can use bullet points if you'd like, but a list is all that is required. Create a list in clear terms without description. You are awarded 1 mark for each point. So you need to have good knowledge so you're able to list your points. Do not write in any detail for these type of questions. You need to identify, list or state, but not in any detail, not in any depth. Let's take a look. We're going to look at a number of list, state, identify type questions. We'll start off with a Unit 1 question, and it's a list question. List 5 features of the Retail Price Index. Now, as we know, the Retail Price Index, or the RPI, is one of the measures of inflation. So it's a 5-mark question. It usually covers a 12-month period. The index is measured against the base year of 100. It is a way of measuring changes in prices, inflation over time. It includes mortgage interest costs. Products in the basket can be changed over a period of time. So as you can see, we've listed the answers. We've got the 5 features down. We haven't included any more than 5, and we will move on to the next question. Do not waste your time trying to describe these type of questions. Just list them. Our next question is a Unit 2 question, a 5-mark list question. List 5 and only 5 factors that could influence the amount of the monthly repayment on a mortgage. Now, they've emphasized an only 5 in the brackets because some students do still have a tendency to list more, but you won't get credited for it. So they put it in brackets. They've told us twice they want 5, so let's just give them 5. Size of the deposit, state of the economy, inflation. It includes mortgage interest costs, credit history, financial footprint, and the value of the property. Now for these answers, you may have had other answers, other appropriate answers as well, which could be credited, and that's perfectly fine. A Unit 1 question. State 5 features of savings accounts that might persuade a customer to choose one account rather than another. 5 marks. Whether they're existing customer or a new customer, the initial amount to open the account, the interest rate, the introductory bonus, whether it's tax-free or taxable. Back to a Unit 1 question, and it is an identify question. Identify 5, and only 5, reasons that people find it hard to move from renting a home to buying one, and it's 5 marks. Providers are lending less money than they used to. Wages are static or falling in real terms. Buyers will need large deposits. Interest rates on savings accounts are still low. Inflation is high and essential expenses are rising. And onto a Unit 2 identify question. Identify 5, and only 5, elements of a financial health check that indicate a person's overall attitudes towards money. Any people on whom they depend on, how much they are borrowing, how they would cope with an unexpected rise in costs, whether they own their own home or whether they have a mortgage.